I come from a family of 7 siblings. We're all vastly different. I'm like the only PhD scientist. They're real estate agents, all these kinds of things, right? And I remember talking to my therapist at one point a couple of years back about the holidays and how I was always the sibling who was organizing the holiday party at my mom's house. And okay, I know a lot of you're smart. So like a lot of you guys are the sibling, right?
Yeah.
You're always the one. It's so exhausting. No one wants to listen to you. You end up like buying all the food and like no one pays you back for like 6 months and like all these things, right? So anyway, I remember confiding in my therapist about that. And she said, okay, I want you to write down each of your siblings' names, and then I want you to write down at least one thing that they contribute to the party. And like, don't come back without that list. So I was like sitting around like scratching my head for that one thing, but I came back and I had like this one thing. And then she was like, if you took away that thing, would the party be successful? And it was wild. Like, even though I thought I was doing all this work, I was buying food and like planning and sending out an itinerary, you know, like the nerdy type A things, like the things that my siblings were doing, like organizing fun games or making signature drinks, were like the life of the party, right? And the party couldn't exist without them. And so I really try to challenge everyone in like team group exercises to do that, to like pick out the person who you think is the weakest link on the team because their skill set is far different than yours and you probably don't even understand it, but to write down that one thing. And then my therapist told me the next week to come back with another thing. And I ended up with a list of 3 things that each of my siblings do that is like so good for our family. And so when I hire people, I don't hire with like the idea that they're going to be successful in academia because they're nature science and Cell published. Many of them are, but not because of that. Is actually, I work my way from the bottom up of people's CVs. And I end up coming up with like a very, 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 every time, an extremely diverse team that works together because none of them are strong in the same thing.
That is great, Dr. Corbett. Laurent, now what does your therapist say? No, I'm only kidding.
Actually, no. I want to know.
All right.
Like, what does a Super Bowl therapist say?
I do work with a sports psychologist, and I'll answer the question while answering about my therapist. But no, but it's crazy because when you show up to a training camp, there's 100 guys out there, and everybody can play from a physical standpoint. What differentiates people is how they think and how they execute in a stressful environment, right? And that's why I started working with a therapist as well for my own personal issue, but also to
love it.
to try to be a better football player.